What's up, guys, and welcome back. Today I'm gonna go through a very important concept in the middle game, which is the minority attack. I'm gonna go through first the pawn structure, so to show you a simplified version of it, and then I will show you a game. This pawn structure here usually is called the Carlsbad pawn structure, after a city in the Czech Republic or Germany. I don't know. Carlsbad is a city. So in this pawn structure, usually white, or the one who has the majority on the queen side, usually tries to attack on the king side. So you could line up your bishops here and you could transfer the rook through the semi-open file to the attack. The queen could jump in. So these are usually the plans for white. White also in the end games could try to make a passed pawn out of his majority here. So these are usually the plans for white here. Whereas black will try to play for what is called the minority attack. Now, what is the minority attack? It's when, look here, black has 2 pawns on the queen side, a pawn here in the center, whereas black has 3 on the queen side and one also d pawn in the center. These 2 pawns will attack these 3 to create a weakness. What do I mean by it? Okay, let's show an example. So p5, let's say this, and b4 now. Now if you take here, I take back, and with the rook here on the a file, if I have a rook on the a file, I can pressure your a pawn. And once you push your a pawn, I trade, and you're left with a weak pawn here. If you don't take, just move. I can potentially take and also pressure the c pawn here, because this is a backwards pawn and it cannot be defended with a pawn. I can pressure this pawn, and this pawn is weak. I could also play this idea. Now, if you take here, I take here, you lost a pawn and these pawns are weak. If you take here, then I can take here. You lost this pawn and these pawns are very weak also. So these are some ideas here that could be played in the minority attack. And also, let's say white goes, let's say a3 here. Also b4 takes, and if white takes, again, you take here if you have a rook, and if white does not take, then you take yourself, and again, there is a weak pawn on the c file. That's a backwards pawn. So this is the minority attack. You use the minority here to attack the majority and create a weak pawn. Let's see a game example. With the white pieces, we have a player called Smilga. I've never heard of him. And with the black pieces is one of my favorite players, former world champion Tigran Petrosyan. Now, this guy Petrosyan, he loves to defend. I mean, his dream in life is to get attacked in chess and then start defending. And he's ready to defend for 20, 30 moves. But then through defending, he will win a pawn from you and beat you with this pawn. So you will attack him, sacrifice everything, but he will just take everything you sacrifice and eventually beat you in an endgame. You will see what I'm talking about. Smilga with the white pieces opens with e4. Now, Petrosyan is a very solid player, and he likes to play c6 and e6. So the French and the Caro-Kann. We have the Caro-Kann here. d4. I made a course about the Caro-Kann. Don't forget to check it out. And also, wait, I'm not continuing. Drop me a like. This is a very important middle game concept, and yeah, just give me a like. c6, d4, d5, and now e takes on d5. C takes on d5. This is the exchange Caro-Kann. It could be transposed into the Banov if c4 is played, but we have bishop d3 here. Knight f6, bishop f4, now knight c6, attacking this pawn, so c3, and now bishop g4, this is the main move, and now white plays here knight f3. The main move here for white is to go queen b6, to go queen b3, and after queen d7, knight here. I have analyzed this position in my Caro-Kann video. After bishop here, say this is possible, etc. So queen b3 here is the main move, but we have knight f3, a6 by Petrosyan. You will see the idea of a6. You remember the pawn structure I just showed you about the minority attack. So a6 could help with b5 later. And it also stops bishop b5 and takes. I mean, let's say, I'll just give you an example. Let's say, I don't know, this. Now, bishop takes, pawn takes. You after b4 here, you'll never be able to play c5 and let's say this. Let's assume that the rook is not hanging. I mean, just to show you the idea here. White has a backwards pawn, but you also have one, so you cannot pressure this pawn, and you will never be able to achieve c5, and it's you who has a weak pawn here on the c5, so it could be pressured later with knight here also. And yeah, you just lack pawn breaks here as black. So this is one idea behind a6 also. So a6, knight bd2 to protect the other knight and unpin later. e6, castles, bishop d6. Remember, in the Caro-Kann exchange, for white it's usually good to trade minor pieces. You need major pieces to help you do the minority attack and pressure the weak pawns, but trading minor pieces is good because white here usually tries to attack on the king side with the help of his bishops and knights. So bishop d6, the bishop goes back. White is saying, okay, if you want to take, you take and improve my pawn structure. So he captures towards the center, and he could later jump here with the knight f5 and f4 and g4, etc. Now black castles, queen e1. Queen e1 is not an innocent move, so white is unpinning here. What does that mean? So just to show, now he wants to go knight here, or not rook c8. Let's just play a normal move here, h6. Now knight e5 is a good move. This bishop is pressured, and now knight takes here is a threat. You remember when I told you that you usually don't want to take here with the pawn because b4 stops c5. Now white wants to take. He wants to take our bishop. The knight here is annoying, and if you take, maybe this is also annoying, and then f4, f5. This is not like, and also look at this bishop. It's gonna get trapped. I mean, later this and the bishop moves and g4, and if you go back, you take. This is not something you want to do. So Petrosyan here played a smart idea. You can take here. This is usually a plan. Once the queen unbinds, you take. But Petrosyan played a nice move. He played knight e7. What is knight e7? Okay. Now, when knight e5 comes, there's no knight takes on c6. This is one. And now, after knight e5 also, your bishop is attacked. You have bishop f5. If you take, you help me develop my knight. So it's a multi-purpose move. Now f4 by white. White is doing the right thing. So he is mobilizing his pieces on the king side and trying to create an attack, but there's no way you can beat Petrosyan in an attack unless you are Fischer. So f4, and now bishop takes on d3. Knight takes on d3, and now the knight goes to f5. So this knight came from here, and now it's ready to be stationed on the king side to defend. Guys, this is, what is it, move 14? Petrosyan still hasn't played anything yet. He's just defending. He didn't even play b5 or b4. He's not playing his ideas. He's just saying, okay, what do you want to do? I just want to attack you on the king side. No, you're not allowed to do it. The bishop goes back, and now bishop e7. This bishop e7 is not an innocent move. Now, let's say you play a normal move. g4 is strong. If you go back, I mean, you could get annoyed here, but your knights are getting booted away, and you just don't have good squares for them. So bishop e7 now. White played knight e5 first, and now rook e8. Rook e8 is also a powerful move. I will explain why. And now after g4, the knight dropped to d6, and now it's eyeing this e4 square. Now what is that? What is the idea behind rook e8? So now when the knight moves in the center, Petrosyan wants to go f5. What does f5 do? It cements the knight here in the center, and also it closes a bit the king side, stops white attack, and now the rook is indirectly defending the e6 pawn. After you play f6 or f5, the e6 pawn becomes weak. And also he wants to move his bishop back to defend his king. So bishop goes to e3 by by white, just defending this pawn, extra protection. And now knight from f jumps to e4. Rook f3, and now Petrusian wants to play f5 here to cement his knight, but he does it with tempo. Now you can pause the video and try to think of a way to play f5 with a tempo here. Now Petrusian first played f6, kicking this powerful knight away. Now first of all, bishop f8. See, the bishop is defending his king. The rook now is defending this pawn. After queen h4 to try to do something. I mean f5, some f5, g5, something. Now he played f5. Look, if you play f5 immediately, then the knight is still here, and yeah, it's white to move here. It's white's move here. Petrusian here played f6, kicking the knight back, and then he just moved his bishop. And after queen h4, he played f5. Now he's saying, come on, trade queens. If you trade queens, then you have no attack left. And also, I kicked your knight back, and then I played f5 because f6 came for free. You just you attack the knight, and the knight had to move. So you got this move. You could say for free, or like with advantage. So now after f5, white played g4, of course. Trading queens here is not healthy for you because you have no attack left, and white now eventually will play his minority attack. So f5, g5, and now g6. No g6 for you. And now this bishop, look, this bishop came back here to defend this king and defend the dark squares. The knight jumps to e4, so the knight was kicked away, and now it jumped back. So white, you could say, lost the tempo here. Queen c7, defending the 7th rank and developing the queen, connecting the rooks. Queen goes back because the queen is useless here, and also you want to push the h-pawn. And now this is move 24. Now Petrusian is playing. So he was just defending the whole game, and now move 24, he was like, okay, fine. Did you do what you wanted to do? You attacked? Okay, fine. Now it's my turn to play. b5. Now he wants to go a6, b4, or a4 and do his minority attack. h4, and now the knight goes back. White has only one piece playing, and it's this powerful knight. Let's trade it. This is a good concept also to know. Trade your opponent's active pieces. Why is this good? Because once you trade your opponent's active pieces, then what is left is going to be only passive. So all these pieces, I mean, this rook is weird here. This rook is in the corner. This knight is way back. Okay, it can capture here, but it's not very good to capture. This bishop is the same color as these pawns, so it's a trash bishop. The queen has no good squares here to go to. It's only this knight that is annoying here. It's controlling many squares in black's camp. So trade it. King g2, and now Petrusian takes. Now white played d takes here on e5, which is the better move. F takes is possible, but now this f4. Now black could play f4 sometime, and also this f4 square is not useful for white. Whereas when you take like this, your bishop now has more scope, and also your knight could come to b3, and also maybe later to d4. So you give your pieces the d4 square. So d takes, and now a5. Petrusian continues his minority attack. Queen goes to e2, attacking this pawn, but Petrusian is like, fine, I'm just gonna push this pawn anyway. This is my plan. b4. The bishop goes to d4 here, and now, okay, one more thing. Usually here you want to meet d4 with c4, but c4 is not working because I take the knight. If I take immediately, then yeah, it's possible to take here with the knight or with the queen. But here I can take first, and you lose your pawn. So you cannot. It's important to make sure that your opponent cannot meet b4 with c4. And when there is a d pawn, then c4 leaves an isolated pawn on d4. So b4, and now bishop d4, defending the pawn. And now Petrusian does not rush here. So he plays rook e c8. adding more pressure on the queen side and on these pawns. You can take, but I mean, if you take bishop takes, let's say knight takes, your opponent developed his rook and also your queen is attacked. You don't have to take, and white doesn't want to take here and get, so after white does not want to take here and get this weak pawn. So rook e8, and now h5. White is trying to open up on the king side and eventually go for an attack. And now a4. Remember this idea, a4, a3 to weaken this pawn chain. a4. Knight takes, d takes. F takes is not so impressive because later white could try to sacrifice this pawn, maybe. Just to show you that if you take here, then these pawns become they have mobility, and if you take here, maybe this one will be weak, and even this pawn move, it could open up some attack, and after this move, maybe now this is a threat. So let's just show you. Now this is checkmate. So you gotta be careful with f takes here. D takes is the better move. Now you have the d file, and also you keep the king side safer. So the rook goes to h3, and now a3 by Petrusian. White takes, and now goes rook c1, which is a blunder. White should have played b3 here, and after b3 you take here on c3, and after rook takes you go queen d7, and now you trade rooks. You have to take with the bishop, otherwise the bishop is hanging. And you play this position as black, where like you have the better bishop here against this bishop, which is staring at this wall of dark squared pawns. So you have a slight edge here as black, and also you have the connected, the protected passed pawn here on e4. But that was the best scenario here for white. White went rook c1 here instead, and after pawn takes here, queen takes on b2, now queen c4. This is a powerful move. Queen c4, you cannot take, you lose your rook. And now this pawn is hanging, so I want to take here, and it's not only a pawn, you lose your queen after it. So the rook has to go to c2 to defend the pawn, and now rook a3. Petrusian wants to bring this rook and just capture here. He is suffocating his opponent. Now Petrusian is playing. Now rook e3 by white, which is also, yeah, a bit of a bad move. Black has a tactic here, a winning tactic. Can you try to spot it? So the winning tactic here, which Petrusian played, is rook takes on e2. Rook takes on a2 is strong. Okay, you don't trade pawns here. So rook takes and b3 and pawn takes. You do not trade pawns here, because queen takes on d4 wins the bishop. If you take, you lose. So this is not a pawn trade. This is just a b-sub. Now why did Petrusian go rook a3 here and not rook takes here? Why didn't he take here? I mean, isn't it the same? If you take, I take here. If you move, I take and take. There's a catch here. So if you go b3 now, I could go queen a7. Now there's a threat of, notice here. Now the rook is on the h file. When the rook was here on e3, it had no control over the h file, and queen a7 just did nothing. Now there is a threat of checkmate, and after rook here, white could take and try to survive this endgame with two rooks on the queen. Okay, black is still better, but there's no need to go into this. So Petrusian played rook a3, threatening to double, and when white went to e3, now came rook takes. b3, the queen moved, pawn takes, and now queen takes on d4, winning the bishop. This is completely winning for black, but white played a bit more. He played queen b3, and now queen d5. He was trying, okay, maybe I can capture, do something. Queen d5, just defends everything. The queen went back, and now bishop c5. Now Petrusian is attacking. This is move 42, and he's attacking now. The rook went to h3, to the h file, and now pawn e3 with discovered check on the king. King moves back to f1, and now queen check. king goes to g2, and now e2. White tried queen b7 here to go for checkmate and try to take the rook, but Petrosian played queen f1 here, and white resigned. Why did he resign? Because this is checkmate, and this is also checkmate. You could also be funky here and play this, and yeah, this is also checkmate. So yeah, after queen check here, white resigned, and a great example of the minority attack by Petrosian. So let's go back here. So he pushed b5 and a5 and b4, and he did not rush to take. White does not want to take here. Taking is good for black, so he did not rush. He just brought more heavy pieces to pressure the weak pawns. So bring your heavy pieces, pressure the weak pawns, and try not to get your queen like in the middle here, or like in the front. You don't want to have your queen in the front. It's better to attack with rooks, but bring more heavy pieces, pressure the weak pawns, and now remember this idea: a4, a3. Now a3, and yeah, this pawn chain got destroyed. Also, white should have played b3 here and tried to survive, but after b takes, then white just has a bad bishop here for a good one. Yeah, so that was the game. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. This type of pawn structure, the Carlsbad here, is quite important to know. You could reach it from the Caro-Kann exchange, from the Queen's Gambit declined exchange variation, from other openings. So this is quite a famous pawn structure in chess. It's good to know the plans for white here, or the one with the majority on the queen side, which is usually to attack on the king side, with the bishops, with the queen coming, with the bishops here, the queen coming here, maybe the rook maneuver through the half open file, whereas black here usually tries to go for what is called the minority attack. That was all for today. I hope you enjoyed. Drop me a like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you soon. Bye.